Hello guys, that's me Alexander and I'm from the Tilburg, the Netherlands. That's a city on the south of the Netherlands, close to Belgium. Just for those who don't know, because it's not really a big city, so you might be interested like where the city exactly is. Not take your time by, showing you all this maps and stuff. I'm just saying where it is. Today I would like to talk a little bit more about the Dutch international reputation. For me as an immigrant, it's quite clear that the reputation the Dutch people have, it's not really the same thing how they really are. I'm not really here to disprove anybody's experiences. I'm not here to say bad stuff about Dutch people, because as I said earlier in my previous videos, I'm married to a Dutch man and I'm super happy about it. We have a son who's obviously half Dutch, so I'm really connected through blood to this nation and to this country, to these people, and I'm not really interested in saying like completely negative stuff. As you probably watched earlier, I have made a video what Dutch people really good at, and I like Dutch people anyway, but they're not perfect, and I just kind of want to a bit ruin this perfect sweet reputation that they have, because I have quite a different experience interacting with them, and I have quite a lot of negative experience interacting with them, and I just want to let the world know that we're all not perfect. Not only like Russian people are evil for doing things, or America is bad, or Russian are good, or just whatever. We all have our own peculiarities, and we all have our own imperfections, and there are some things that I want to say there are some things I really want to talk about when it comes to Dutch people. The main question I want to answer in this video is, are Dutch people truly tolerant, or it's just a myth? Okay, let's try to come up with our own conclusion. I'm not really like forcing anyone to think a certain way, to make certain opinion about certain situations. Totally not. You guys totally free to think for yourself, but I just want to share with you my experience. First of all, Dutch people have a concept of what they call normaal and niet normaal, what can be easily translated into English. You don't have to be super smart to actually understand what it means. It means normal or not normal. So Dutch people really stuck with their own way of living. I'm not talking about super tolerant and like super open-minded people living in the center of Amsterdam. I'm talking about regular Dutch, maybe provincial people like in Tilburg or in some villages close to Tilburg. They really expect things to be a certain way. If they eat like bread, for lunch, they expect bread for lunch. If you like in Russia, we eat hot lunch, we eat like this. Lunch is the biggest meal of the day in Russia, so we eat soup, we can eat main course and like dessert. So it's like it's a huge part of our life to eat lunch together. People don't really hesitate to take warm lunches even to work. They really stick with that tradition. They don't want to give up on that, no matter how convenient or inconvenient it is. And that's what we're used to. And if you say these things to Dutch people, they might be like, oh really, but it's just not convenient to bring hot food to work. Oh, strange, and how do you transport it? It's just, they kind of like, it's normal to be a bit surprised about cultural differences, like we all are. We don't really know everything about other cultures, and we can be sometimes be a bit like an awe. Huh? Like really? Is it really the way you do it there? But they really expect you do normal. When I mean do normal, just do like everyone else. You shouldn't really stick too much. You shouldn't really put your head so much up in the air. It's not good. They don't like that. They like you to be like normal. That's why a lot of times they're pretty close emotionally, and everything they tell you or they answer to you is just politically correct. They really tell you the things that, how should I say that, like the things that you should really, that you probably expect to hear, which is like the socially accepted form of saying things. Not really what they think, not what in their heart, but this socially accepted norm. I believe to be in the category of this normal, you know. They constantly, they can say a lot of things like, oh, that's normal these days. They constantly check this norm, like, is it normal these days or is it not normal? Is it, you know, you should fall in the category of normal. And trust me, that's very close-minded. That's a very close-minded attitude, you know. It's not really open-minded. It's very judgmental, and they are judgmental. Trust me, they are tolerant in the way that, yeah, they have so much freedom you can do, but they still, you know, say their opinion in a pretty much a rude and intrusive way. And yeah, the next thing is comes from the previous point. When it comes to normal and not normal, some people say, oh, but Dutch people are so tolerant toward gay people, toward the whole LGBT community. Well, yes, they are, but it's not because they're tolerant. It's because people who belong to LGBT community, they fall into category of normal. Do you understand now? That's normal. But if you say you're from Russia, trust me, that's not normal. They are very, like, you can have very negative feelings because you're from there. I mean, it's not really my fantasies or that I feel like ashamed of them from Russia or anything like that. No, it's what really people, you know, made me feel here. Like, a lot of times they're like, oh, Russia, and immediately questions. I mean, I've heard so many stories. Like, one girl I know, you know, the teacher in the Netherlands in her Dutch class could ask her in front of the whole class, what does she think about Putin? When she answered that, well, Putin has done some good things, some bad things, like any other person. I'm not really now displaying my opinion about it, totally doesn't matter here, but she says, like, well, it's good and the bad things, I don't really know. It's like, just for you to know, answered the teacher, we don't like Putin in this country. But I don't know, I'm not sure if this, our friend Trump, you know, likes him or not. But just kind of like, why would you ever start this kind of impolite conversation, like, about somebody's, you know, the president? Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's impolite, it's discriminative, it's disrespectful, but they do this. Don't mistake them for all these sweet, super tolerant people where you can, you know, where gay people can be happy, where just, you know, like, even prostitutes are being well taken care of on the red light district, where people can use, like, light drugs and this. They are not like that. That's for the tourist. It's like for international image. It's not who they are in everyday life, especially in provincial areas. I'm not generalizing. There are many tolerant people, smart, educated, people who understand, but I'm just telling this, a lot of people are not like that. And don't have any illusions. Don't buy this international version of Dutch people, okay? Because it's really not the case, you know? And even my husband agrees with that. So yeah, and so many Dutch friends like agrees, like, oh yeah, that's actually like that, you know, like we do have these problems, but we all have, you know, that like Russian people are also not perfect, far away from being perfect, you know, the same thing like about any other nationality. But we just want those of you who watch this video not to make it sound also perfect, okay? Just, you know, you have to be ready to some things. And I've heard the same impressions from people coming from other cultures. Some of my American friends who live here, they have exactly the same impression, and so many other people have exact same impression. Unfortunately, Dutch people, like I said earlier in my videos, probably don't understand the difference between being honest and rude. Dutch people can be extremely rude, saying you things they shouldn't be saying, you know, and they think, oh, we just say what's in my mind. We just don't really mean that. Oh, we're just such a simple people. No, you're not. A lot of times Dutch people are passively aggressive. They can tell you horrible things, but serve it that way that even take you time to realize they're trying to be horrible to you. That's a talent, I can tell you. It's that really is, you know. They're not gonna be like in Russia, like people will be open and rude to each other, just sit down, I will tell you, you know, what you've been doing to me or what I felt because you said this, or just, you know, all this. No, they're not. They will tell you nicely some things and you will be like, well, was I just giving a compliment or I was just humiliated? I can't really, I mean, they're good at it. They're really good at it. Don't get me wrong. And Today's video of mine was probably dedicated to the topic of the reality of who Dutch people are. You know, not who they want to look like, but who they really are. Yeah, it was a bit negative. It was not super like smooth and sweet, but I already made a whole video dedicated to the stuff that Dutch people are really good at, and there's so many things I deeply respect them for. You know, having such a small country, with half of this should be just under sea level, you know, and they made it. They keep fighting for it, and it's so organized that it's just so good. They just has such a high living standards that I haven't decided to move here, and I'm very happy about it. And I'm enjoying my Dutch husband. He's also Dutch, so yeah, I'm not saying the Netherlands are entirely bad. It's not the case, okay? Don't get me like this. I'm not trying to say that Dutch people are bad. They are not, but they are not as tolerant and as open-minded as most of the people I used to think they are. Really, it's not the case. I was very much unpleasantly surprised when I moved here, when I discovered those things for myself, and when I was hurt by people saying rude stuff to me, or when I was looking down to, because, you know, I moved here like in 2015, you know, in the end 2015, and all this MH17 happened, and I was suspiciously looked at, or just, you know, some people at the big family party would come up to me and said, oh, you planning to get married, right? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, and what's the next step? Are you gonna bring your parents here like for 3 or 4 months? And I was like, no, they actually work, they can come here, you know, they help me to pay for the study. And they're like, okay, do you have scholarship? I was like, not. And then, it was said in Dutch, probably getting money from the government. And those people were even like distant relatives, I would say. You know, and yeah, that eventually they were talked to, not in a sweet way, you know, and said that they were wrong talking to me like that. But this is the first time when I actually experienced the word discrimination. I realized that somebody can look down at you, sorry, I'm gonna get nervous and make mistakes, just because you come from a certain country. And that's just ridiculous, man. We live in like 2020, like, really? Does it really matter? Like, isn't it like right to first figure out who this person is and then make up your mind about the way you're gonna treat that person? That's pretty strange. I'm not saying that all Dutch people are. I've met a lot of sweet Dutch people, especially those people who worked in the hospital, because I had pretty difficult labor and delivery, and that wasn't easy, okay? And they were so sweet, so loving, so supportive. I will never ever forget them. So that's why I don't have a black picture of Dutch culture, don't get me wrong, but I want to really destroy this myth of a super tolerant nation that is super sweet, and this is like the most tolerant place to be. Guys, it's not. It has its disadvantages, I would say. So it was nice talking to you today. I hope that didn't turn out super negative, because as I said earlier, I love the Netherlands. I'm enjoying living here. I don't know if we'll stay here like forever, or maybe in 10 years we'll live somewhere else, because we're pretty international minded with my husband, but I'm enjoying it. It's nice weather, it's a good country, and yeah, I really advocate you to come here and to prove it for yourself. Have a nice day today, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Bye!